was doing private stuff, tax stuff. Basically, a lot of scanning, a lot of downloading, printing, signing, initialing, dating, and uploading, and then gathering of data. And typing it all into my big, financials, information, spreadsheet, and everything that I use to track everything every year. When you own your own business, it becomes way more difficult than if you just have a 9-to-5 job or even just like a part-time job where, oh, I have a pay stub. And that pay stub just has all my information on it automatically, right? When you have your own business, man, you've got to do so much extra work between calculating me. I have income coming in from multiple sources, right? All over the place. You guys directly, YouTube, and then there's direct and indirect, Patreon, stuff like, it's coming from all directions. And you got to make sure you account for all of that. You have to. And then on top of that, all the expenses and everything you have to account for. A lot of expenses went up last year. Things like electricity, gas, all that stuff went up because of inflation. And inflation is a key factor in the cost of operating a business. And so all that stuff I'm figuring out. And next thing I know, I started probably doing that. Usually my late stream, I'll turn it on around 6:45 p.m. and the late stream I'll end around 9:15, 9:30. And then I upload or whatever. I was in this office around 6:30, so a little earlier. And the first thing I did is I printed out the documents I needed my wife and I to sign. And then I just got right into the data, right? Looking at data, transferring data over to get an idea of, what did I make last year? And, I start doing it. I look at the clock. It's 9:45. I said, what? I felt like I was in here for 30 minutes. And it had been 3 hours of doing this. It's just, it's hilarious because I went to college for finance and or possibly accounting. I tell you right now, it's the last thing I would ever want to do. Now that I've done so many other things with my life and I'm so far removed from that life, it's the last thing I would ever want to do is just sit around crunching numbers all day. It's the most boring, time consuming. And I finish doing it for 3.5 hours and my eyes are all bugged out. Because the thing is, when you're staring at a spreadsheet and or statements and things, and you're transferring data over, your eyes, you start looking around, you're like, I can't even see. I've been looking at this for 3 hours. I can't, I'm getting a headache. It's driving me nuts, and I just don't like it. And what can I say? It's hilarious that I have a degree in finance, and this is something that I would never ever want to do in my life if I could help it. Anyway, so. The good news, I'll give you an update on it since some people undoubtedly ask, well, how did it go? Well, the good news is the initial work that I needed to get done got done. Now, my tax guy can start working on the taxes. It's not all the data that they need to do my taxes, but at least I got the initial groundwork working. They can start the process. And what I'm going to definitely need to do is at some point between now and the end of the month, I'm going to have to take another night stream off. I'm going to have to take another night stream off to finish, because I basically got the first half done and a little bit into the second half of what I needed to do, and then I ran out of time. So, another night, another 2-3 hours of work, I'll likely get all the data together that I need, and then I'll be able to send it off, and it'll be done for the year. And I'm hoping for the best. Every year I'm nervous when I do my taxes because I'm self-employed. I own my own business, and it's very different from when you have a 9-to-5 job or a part-time job. Again, when you have a 9-to-5 or part-time job, every time you get paid, they're automatically taking the taxes you owe the federal government. If you live in the U.S., anyway, this is how it works. They automatically take those taxes out of your pay. So you're getting what's called the net pay. Now, sometimes you overpay, and at the end of the year when you file your taxes, they say, hey, guess what? You're getting a refund. Congrats, you get some money back. You're like, wow, that's neat. I get some money back. I love a little bonus here. That's excellent. When you own your own business, you've never paid enough. There's never been a single year that I've operated a business on YouTube where I have actually had a refund. It's never happened. It's always somehow you underpaid. Okay? Because, by the way, no one's taking taxes out of the money I get. It's my responsibility on a monthly basis or at the very least on a quarterly basis to be making estimated payments to the government. They expect me to guess exactly how much I'm going to make and or based on the performance of what's going on the few months before, kind of guess and, okay, this is what I should owe, and then send it to them. And the thing is, do you have to do it that way? No, but if you don't, you get hit with so many penalties. You'll get hit with a ridiculous amount of late fees and penalties if you don't pay them anything till the end of the year. Because some people do that. They just don't care. They wait till the end of the year. They send one lump sum payment to the government. Here's what I owe you for taxes. But then you get hit with a bunch of fees. So the better way to do it is to gradually do it slowly over the year. But you're just guessing. You know, a lot of the times you don't actually know yet exactly what you owe. And then, like, again, I never get it right. It's always under. So you always have that worry. Uh-oh, did I gross underpay last year by accident and didn't intend to? And now is it going to tell me that I owe a ginormous amount of back taxes that now I have to somehow pay over time? But by the way, money's already tight. So now can you imagine? Now I got to factor in, I got to pay more for a back tax payment because I already, as you guys know, I've mentioned this before, and I'm not going to go into massive detail. And this is not going to be a giant segment of the show. I do have back taxes that I'm paying, and it's all left over from the days, you know, when I had all those financial problems. I've still got back taxes for years and years that I have to pay off slowly. It's going to take forever. I might be doing it for decades. Seriously. That's how it is, like this slow burn of trying to get it off of your back. If I had the money, I would pay it right now. I don't have it. But, you know, the government wants their money. So it's like, well, I got to slow pay it. So a lot of the times it's funny when people say to me, well, Phil, I don't understand. Where does all your money go? I've got a lot of things like that going on. Basically, money that I have a slow owe. A slow owe. Wow, is that a new term I just made up? A slow owe, where you owe it, but you don't have to pay it immediately. As long as you pay it slowly, it's okay. But it basically drips you dry. So every month I get a payment from YouTube, and immediately it's like, okay, pay the big stuff, like the mortgage, the car. Wait, what about all these slow owes? So it goes to this payment plan, to this payment plan, to this. Oh, I have no money left. And that's what happens every month. And so when I do my taxes, it's like nervous even further. Will it go up? Will they now tell me I have to double what I'm already paying on my the back payment plan? And where's that money coming from? You know what I'm saying? So it's concerning. It's frustrating. And it makes me nervous whenever I have to work on this. It really does. And that's what I mean. Like, it was a stressful day yesterday because the first half of the day was a stressful game of Wolong Fallen Dynasty. And I'm like, here we go. Now we can relax and we can have a chill stream. Oops, there's no chill stream today. I'm doing my taxes. Oh, shit. And now here comes the stress. You know what I'm saying? Nick says, my Connecticut tax guy did me dirty all those years ago. He did. He absolutely did. That's one of the reasons. And again, not to beat the dead horse of my history, but when I lived in Connecticut, I had a tax guy who's doing my taxes, and he's doing them all correctly. When I moved out here to Washington 9 years ago, okay, this guy, I told him, I guess we're saying goodbye because I'm moving to a new state. All the taxes are likely going to end up having to be calculated differently because I'm in a different state now. And he assured me, oh no, I can continue to keep doing your taxes. Please keep your business with me. We'll do it all correctly, yada, yada. So he did my taxes 2014, 2015, 2016. And then come 2017, I get notified by the state of Washington that he was doing them wrong all along, and I owed them a ton of money. And I'm like, great. And that's really one of the major things that screwed me over, you know. As I told you guys, there's been many different like milestones in life here where I've been a YouTuber where it's like I'm getting to a good point financially and then something screws me. And that was really the tipping point because after that, there was no coming back. Like once that one happened, that I had to pay thousands upon thousands of back thousands of dollars to this state. And then I had to pay a tax attorney to fix that. And that was thousands of dollars of work and everything. Basically, that was it. I was never coming back from any of it. And that's one of the major reasons that led to my bankruptcy. Not all of them. But anyway. So now I'm kind of like, I get nervous around tax time. Because even though I know I did everything I possibly could have done to do my taxes correctly, it doesn't mean that I did. You know, even as much as I try, due diligence to make sure everything's right, even if you're paying someone thousands of dollars to do your taxes, they could still do them wrong. And now you're screwed. You're on the hook for it. So that's why I hate this time of year, you know. But the good news is more than the first half is done. Like I said, likely one more night, maybe, you know, second half of this month, I'll take off from streaming to finish the work. And hopefully that's it. And then I could just say, okay, phew. For the rest of the year, I can chill and relax and breathe easy and everything. You know, because there's been some years. Like, last year, all right, and this will be the last thing I talk about it. Last year, okay, there was a concern because my old home in Connecticut had been foreclosed upon years ago. And finally, last year, they had, actually, I take it back, it might have been 2020. No, it was 2021. Okay, it was 2021. The foreclosure finally fully went through, and that home was no longer in my name. But there's this weird thing in tax law that says if you have a property that's foreclosed on, they could consider that profit. How exactly? It's not an asset I own. I didn't make any money on a sale. My credit was ruined and I lost the asset. So how is that profit? But apparently there's some situations where it can be considered profit. And if it was considered profit, exactly how would I account for, I think that property at the time that they foreclosed on it was worth maybe $80,000, $90,000. How are you going to account for the fact they're going to say I made $90,000 that I didn't make and I owe taxes on that, right? Like, that's insane. Good news is, no, that didn't happen. It was all accounted for properly and everything. And apparently, no, I wasn't liable for it, thank God. That's good. That was last year. I was actually nervous a lot of last year behind the scenes of everything going on, saying, man, what's going to happen? I don't know. This could screw me over. Another thing that could just screw me over that no one really talked about or knew. And, but thankfully that has passed. Okay. We're past that. And it's not a big concern anymore.